Is the agonizing death of over 100 sailors the official beginning of World War III?
While the globe focuses on Middle Eastern bombings, a silent strike has occurred tonight.
The regional leader's death and the tragic loss of civilian lives continue to haunt us.
Global cameras remain fixed on the piles of smoking rubble across the Iranian capital city. Deep in the blue waters of the Indian Ocean, the U.S. military did the unthinkable today.
Iran's most modern warship has been completely buried in the deep sea by U.S. forces.
Just 24 hours before this strike, the vessel was welcomed by the Indian Navy.
Over 100 Iranian naval personnel have tragically met a watery grave tonight. Some experts call this a smart move, while others label it as the ultimate U.S. betrayal. To understand this terror, we must look at a naval event from over 40 years ago.
The world has not witnessed such a naval destruction since the Falklands War in 1982.
No global power has dared to sink a major warship in this brutal manner until right now. The question remains whether the United States is officially starting a third world war.
Breaking news from the coast of Sri Lanka is making defense experts sweat tonight.
This is not just a military incident, but a chilling story written on the ocean surface. For the United States military, this is the first attack of its kind since World War II. It seems the U.S. has driven the final nail into the coffin of global international peace.
The era of diplomatic dialogue is over, and a devastating period of ruin begins tonight.
This destruction affects the Middle East, the United States, and the entire world today. Please subscribe to the Strategic Pulse for the most accurate updates on this global war. Tehran was already outraged before the sinking of the Iris Dena warship today. Following this maritime event, the regime might cross the boundary of total madness.
If retaliation happens, global oil prices will instantly skyrocket to record levels.
If the Kremlin leader or Beijing intervenes, a nuclear attack could follow very soon.
The question is no longer if they will retaliate, but how horrifying the revenge will be. This specific news is extremely significant as it will alter the world's trajectory. Please subscribe to the Strategic Pulse for the most accurate updates on this global war.
This attack is the death of international agreements that prevented a third world war.
The terrifying consequences of this strike could redraw the entire global map today.
The biggest threat is that the Indian Ocean has now become a dangerous naval death zone.
Previously, this ocean was considered the safest for international business commerce.
But this American military strike has proven that absolutely no one is safe tonight.
Every oil tanker navigating these maritime routes now sails in the shadow of death.
If the Strait of Hormuz is closed, the global oil supply will abruptly halt for everyone. Fuel prices could easily surge past $500, paralyzing the world economy. This American step could push the entire world to the brink of mass global starvation. After this incident, the extreme danger of a nuclear war has become even more imminent. The Iranian leadership is at a point where they have very little left to lose tonight.
During the recent operation, the high-value target was successfully intercepted.
Following that, a tragic incident claimed the lives of numerous innocent civilians.
Tehran has been absolutely consumed by rage and blood since those horrific strikes. Are we truly prepared for the absolute devastation following this silent American strike?
Currently, the intense fighting remains strictly confined to the Middle Eastern region. Will the dark ashes of this brutal conflict soon cover the skies of the entire planet?
Does this fatal event mark the ultimate collapse of sophisticated global diplomacy? Was sinking the Iranian vessel in the Indian Ocean a smart move or a horrific betrayal? Half the world fiercely defends this unexpected action as a brilliant strategic maneuver. Meanwhile, the other half accuses the United States of violently destroying global laws.
The Iranian vessel was destroyed while returning from the friendly Milan 2026 exercise.
Following the strike, the defense official delivered a shockingly cold press briefing. He proudly labeled this controversial operation as a brilliantly executed, quiet death. He called it the most significant naval victory for the American military since 1945. The U.S. military essentially warned the entire world that absolutely no one is safe now.
Officials proudly labeled it a quiet death, since nobody hears torpedoes underwater.
But the agonizing cries of over 100 grieving families are echoing globally.
The United States is increasingly being viewed internationally as an apex predator. This predatory strike has profoundly shocked even close strategic partners like India. Did the Pentagon intentionally choose Indian territorial boundaries for this strike? Did Washington deliberately time this brutal ambush right after the ship left port? Please subscribe to the Strategic Pulse for the most accurate updates on this global war.
The Iranian military vessel was peacefully returning from the port of Visakhapatnam in India.
Indian naval forces had just hosted them with grand hospitality and great respect tonight.
Yet American military assets were silently waiting in the dark waters for a brutal ambush.
The tragic victims were sailors who had just departed from a peaceful and friendly visit. Can the Indian government ever repay the heavy moral debt of this maritime tragedy today?
Launching this strike near the Sri Lankan coast seems like a calculated strategic move.
This aggressive move directly challenges New Delhi and its regional ocean dominance now. The major geopolitical question now is whether India will remain completely silent today. Is the heavy price of diplomatic neutrality the tragic loss of 100 Iranian lives? Exactly what kind of terrifying underwater hunter executed this devastating naval attack?
Recent intelligence reports confirm a Virginia-class nuclear submarine was used tonight.
This advanced American stealth submarine tracked the Iranian ship like a ghost at sea.
It silently stalked the target before launching the devastating stealth torpedo strike.
Utilizing advanced torpedoes proves the U.S. military wanted absolute maritime destruction. They ruthlessly ensured the targeted vessel had 0 seconds to recover in open waters. This catastrophic naval event marks a colossal failure for Iranian intelligence tonight. The American silent strike has practically rewritten the entire book of modern warfare. This bloody maritime operation has permanently changed how global naval wars are fought. While some fiercely argue that absolutely everything is considered fair in total war. Please subscribe to the Strategic Pulse for the most accurate updates on this global war. Sinking a peaceful vessel on a friendship mission seems completely unjustified today. Will the devastated families of these 180 sailors ever get justice?
The terrifying devastation off the coast of Sri Lanka can break every human heart.
The recent reports from the Sri Lankan Navy are truly spine-chilling for the world.
Rescuers were visibly sweating after witnessing the absolute horror on the water today.
Over 80 lifeless bodies were recovered amid a massive black blanket of oil.
Out of the 180 crew members, only 32 were rescued alive.
Over 70 naval personnel remain completely missing in the dark ocean depths now.
Tragically, the bodies of these lost sailors might never be recovered from the sea. These men were professional soldiers, but even war has specific rules and laws tonight. Ancient traditions forbid striking a guest who extends a hand of peace from behind. These military personnel were not deployed on an active combat front at this time.
They were returning from a peaceful diplomatic mission to the Indian subcontinent.
Facing an enemy in open combat is martyrdom, but this strike is a cold-blooded murder. Imagine the immense pain of mothers who saw their sons smiling in India very recently. Why were their peaceful sons buried deep in the deep by the American military forces?
The wreckage at Gale screams that innocent pawns always pay for global power games.
Will this American military action eventually lead to a global nuclear conflict now? The tragic events near Sri Lanka were certainly not the first of their kind tonight. Please subscribe to the Strategic Pulse for the most accurate updates on this war. The previous loss of the regional leader and the civilian tragedies still haunt the capital today.
The deep grief in the streets of the capital city has transformed into burning anger. By sinking the Iris Dena, the United States has violently fueled an existing fire tonight.
The elite Revolutionary Guards view this maritime attack as a direct blow to their honor. Voices from within the nation are now demanding an ultimate and final apocalyptic war. The question is no longer if they will act, but how they will permanently retaliate. Will the regime decide to close the Strait of Hormuz, the world's vital oil supply line?
If nuclear weapons are utilized, this conflict could easily turn the entire globe into ash. The dangerous nuclear trigger could now be in the hands of any desperate military actor.
The floating wreckage near Sri Lanka warns that we are rapidly heading for destruction.
The American military has drawn a line from which there is absolutely no way to return. This torpedo attack was not just on a single ship, but an assault on all of humanity. The uncontrolled pride of major powers has reached our borders, and no one is safe now.
The United States has not just broken the rules, but they have burned them entirely today.
Is the United States becoming an uncontrolled hunter in the modern international arena?
Should strategic partners like India remain silent about this betrayal of maritime trust? Strategic partners must decide whether to remain quiet or strengthen their global voice. Please join the Strategic Pulse community by clicking the link in the comments below. Has the Third World War officially started tonight? We await your thoughts in the comments.